Next chapter we are going to learn is the legacy of ancient India. So first let's see the history of India. So ancient India has a very rich history, right? There was a rich tradition of culture, art, architecture, literature, sculpture, science as well as mathematics. This history we have inherited from our ancestors. So first let's see about the literature. In the ancient literature, lots of things were written in Sanskrit language. So let's see about the compositions in Sanskrit. So Sanskrit was a forerunner of many of the Indian languages. So all the books written in ancient India were mostly composed in Sanskrit language. So Sanskrit was of great religious as well as the literary significance. And the Vedas mainly were written in Sanskrit. So Rig Veda was composed in Vedic Sanskrit. Rig Veda was composed in Vedic Sanskrit. Vedic Sanskrit was an early form of the language. So what is written in Rig Veda? It is a collection of prayers. Rig Veda is a collection of prayers offered to gods such as Varuna, Agni and Surya. Vedas also give us the detailed description about the geography of a land, the animals living in that area, as well as the plants living in that area. Flora and fauna means animals and plants living in that area. So other than the Rig Veda, we have Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. And other than the Vedas, we also have Vedangas, Aryankas and Upanishads. And two major books that were written at that period were Ramayana and Mahabharata. They are the important books and for the Hindu people. Bhagavad Gita book is a part of the Mahabharata book only, which is still date being continued to read. So we sometimes read Bhagavad Gita book, right? And there are 18 Puranas. They deal with myths, legends and religious rites. The Sanskrit grammarian Panini wrote the Ashtadhyayi Panini, a masterful study of the Sanskrit grammar. So, and there was Patanjali who wrote the Mahabhyasa. So, Mahabhyasa was a commentary on the Ashtadhyayi. And a very ancient book which was written in Sanskrit was Ashwaghosa's Buddha Charita. This Buddha Charita narrates the life of a Buddha. And Kalidas was very famous poet of the Gupta period. He was an ancient writer. Abhigna Shakuntalam, Meghaduta, Ritu Samhara, all these were written by the poet Kalidas. And his quality of poetry was very good. And many students know about the Panchatantra fables, Panchatantra storybooks, right? These were also at first written in only Sanskrit language. So in this image we see the Bhagavad Gita which was written in Sanskrit language as well as the Panchatantra tales. Next let's see about the writings in Pali and Prakrit. So Pali is also a language which was commonly used during the ancient Indian period. And very many Buddhist religious books were written in the Pali language. Sutta Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka, Vinaya Pitakare, these were the important Buddhist textbooks which were known as Triptikas. So these Triptikas contain the teachings of Buddha and these are known as sutras in Sanskrit and suttas in Pali language. So there was also a book Dhammapada which is a collection of Buddhist verses and everybody knows Jataka tales. Their stories were famous. So these also a collection of fables and many characters talking about animals. This was also written in Pali script. So in this image, this is the Prakriti script and this is the Pali script. Next, let's study about the arc and architecture. So pre-Mauryan art. So during the Mauryan civilization, people believed that the value of things depended on its usefulness rather than the beauty. How useful the thing was, that was important rather than the price and rather than the beauty. So this approach led them to the well-planned town design so that good drainage systems were designed so that they could be used properly. And a bronze statue of a dancing girl was designed. So this gives us an idea of a jewelry and hairstyle of the Indus people of the Mauryan Empire. Mauryan art. The Megasthenes was a person who gave the detailed description of the ruler Chandragupta Maurya, and during his period all the sculptures were made of carved wood. So wood was the basic important preferred material for construction. So this is a image of a Mauryan sculpture which was carved out of the wood. Next let's see the pillars and capitals of the Mauryan period. Capitals are nothing but the pieces of sculptures on top of the pillars. So these pillars were made up of sandstone only. Only sandstone was used in making these pillars, and this sandstone was highly polished. And what sculptures did the pillars have? What capitals did the pillars have? They had images of horses, bulls and lions. And till date, a district called Chunar near Varanasi have this Mauryan pillar. So this is the image of a Mauryan pillar. This is the pillar and this is the capital. Next, let's see about the cave temples. So there were monasteries or viharas in various parts of the India where a number of monks used to live, and there were also chaityas, and they were created in western and southern India, and these chaitya had many pillars and stupas inside them, and till date a good example of this caves is Ajanta caves. So this is a chaitya at Ajanta caves, many pillars and stupas. So after the Buddha died, the remains of the Buddha's body, they were placed in a sealed casket, and then it was placed in a small chamber. So over this chamber, spherical, hemispherical domes were built like this. They are known as stupas. At first the stupas were built with stone railings, but later they were replaced by the wooden railings. And the gateways had always four cardinal points of direction: east, west, north and south, and intricate carvings were done on the railings and the gateways, which narrated the stories of the life of the Buddha. This is an example of Amravati Stupa in Andhra Pradesh. Next, temples. There was a brick temple in Bhitargaon in Kanpur, and there was also a temple at Deogarh near the Jhansi, which are the ruins of the Gupta period, which are seen till date. And in the southern part of the India, we have Mamallapurama, where a number of stone temples were constructed by the Pallavas, and a shore temple. Shore temple is the example of structural architecture in India. And Pallavas also built the Kailasanatha temple at the Kanchipuram in the 8th century AD. And Chalukyas also built numerous temples at places such as Aihole, Badami and Patadikal. So this is a brick temple and this is the Aihole temple. Next, let's learn about the sculpture. Sculpture period marked an imaginative and impressive step forward in the Indian stone culture. So earlier sculptures were built of stone, but earlier sculptures were built of wood, but then the wood did not survive. And then came stone sculptures. So example is Ashokan pillars. These were made up of sandstones and they were highly polished. And till date we have these Ashokan pillars. These have lifelike figures of the animals carved on their capitals. So example is the lion captor or the pillar of Ashoka at Sarnath, which is the Indian national emblem today. So this is a sandstone pillar. And then there were also art schools, Gandhara School of Art, Mathura School of Art, which have evolved in the northern India. So they were influenced by the Greek sculpture, and the Gandhara School of Art used the Greek sculpture, and Mathura School of Art preferred the sandstone. This is the image of an Ashokan pillar where animals were carved out of the sandstone, and this is the statue of Buddha from Gandhara School of Art. Next, paintings were also well developed in the ancient India. So today we see Ajanta and Ellora. These tell us how the paintings were there from the ancient India, and these paintings always used vegetable color as the dyes, and this is the image of an Ajanta cave painting. And science and religion were linked in the ancient India. The two important scholars of astronomy were Aryabhatta and Varahamihira. So Aryabhatta discovered the cause of solar and lunar eclipses and also discovered the earth revolves around the sun, and he also estimated the circumference of the earth. And Varahamihira explained the movement of the planets. So they were the space astronauts or scholars of ancient times. And there was also Bhaskaracharya. He knew about the gravity 1200 years ago, and he wrote down his findings in a book called Surya Siddhanta. This is the statue of Aryabhatta, a famous astronomy scholar. Next is mathematics. Definitely it was believed that the people of Indus Valley civilization would have had some knowledge about maths because they built the city such beautifully in a planned manner, and they also had uniform and accurate measurement system of weight. And there was Vedic maths which dealt with arithmetic, geometry and algebra. So in maths, the most outstanding contribution of India is the concept of zero and decimal system. Medicinal science was also developed in ancient India. Sushruta was the surgeon of that time, and Ayurveda branch of medicine was used, so that herbal medicines were used to cure the illnesses. And Charaka was the first physician. He stated that diseases are caused when body balance is disturbed. And yoga system of exercise was also discovered, and yoga is beneficial both for physical and mental health. And this Charaka was the first physician, and this is the image of the Charaka doctor.